Hi folks, today I'm going to show you how I clean my two large fish tanks. So I'm going to run you through a list of equipment and how I actually do it. So basically I've got a large bucket, it's a 20 litre bucket, a smaller bucket which I put my incidentals in like brush and sponge, a couple hoses. The one in the shorter one is actually a hose that connects the two tanks together. Next one is actually hoses about 10 or so meters long, and that's actually to siphon the water out out of the house. And next one is a long sponge with a brush attached. Actually, it's not a brush, with a rod attached, and that is basically to clean the sides of the glass that's hard to reach. And the other one's a syphon. If you don't know what a syphon is, it's pretty much an important part of any person cleaning a fish tank. You should really read on it, and without it you pretty much can't clean a fish tank. And last and finally, a hose. This connects from outside the house into the tank, and that is to fill up the water. And I basically use chlorinated water, and I dechlorinate it once it's inside the tank. And there's a couple of reasons why, because basically I don't want to break my back carrying heaps of water, and it is essentially a large tank, and combined they are over close to 400 gallons, those two tanks. So basically you don't want to be carrying buckets and buckets of water. Next thing you do is turn any electrical plugs off. So what you can see there is that's my 6-foot tank, and on the left hand side is my 7-foot tank. So I'm going to clean them concurrently together because they're next to each other, and I'll just show you how I do it. So I basically turn all the electrical off, the necessary ones, and now I'm gonna siphon the 6-foot. So the siphoning process is started, and that's running from the 6-foot tank there, as you can see. Next thing I'm gonna do is connect the two tanks together, and that's done through a hose. So essentially now water's coming from the 7-foot to the 6-foot through the siphon and then out to the front yard. I've just basically turned the lights on so it's easier for you guys to see what I'm doing inside the fish tank. As you can see, the back walls are full of algae, and what I'm going to do is clean it. As the water is siphoning out of the tank, I concurrently use that siphon to take any stuff out of the bottom of the tank, like its waste and stuff like that. So with a 7-foot tank, I actually put the hose in here to fill it up, and what's that going to do is new water is going to come in here like so, and it's going to run through this connecting hose back to the 6-foot. So essentially I'm going to let it run for an hour or two as the water drains, and while I'm doing that, during that time is inspecting the tank and making sure all the glass is clean. Basically 5 minutes has passed, and about 10% of the water has been taken out. What's going to happen is I'm going to take about that much water more, and once it goes to that level, I'll start bringing the hose in to fill it up. Okay, water levels reached to the point where I'm happy with, and as you can see, there's about 40% taken out of the 7-foot tank, and probably another 40% out of the 6-foot. It's quite a lot of water taken out. So now what I'm going to do is fill it up with tap water. So now I'm just going to let the tap water run, but you will also notice if I go to the other side of the 6-foot tank, I'm still letting the syphon run as well. So the reason why I'm doing this is because what I want to do is minimize any ammonia spikes that could have happened when we disturbed the substrate, and by doing that, by adding new water and at the same time taking the old water out concurrently, I'm reducing the amount of ammonia spike. Well, there's a couple of ways to dechlorinate the water, and what I use is actually a concentrated form. This is fine. You can use anything, but make sure it's concentrated. Otherwise, you can actually, because it's actually a very large tank, and you're talking about pretty much around about 400 gallons. If that was a backyard, that would be a pond really. So you can use dechlorinators designed for ponds, because they're concentrated as well, and these should be great for the tank. I should really start adding it now. What I usually do with this stuff is actually add more than I need, just to be on the safe side. While we're waiting for the water to be filled up, you can notice a couple of things with the tank running. Essentially, I haven't changed any canister filters, and the other thing to notice is there's a lot of agitation in the water from the hose, from the filters, and so forth. And this, what this is designed to do is actually dechlorinate the water, and at the same time get rid of any bad odors and stuff like that from the water, and at the same time oxygenate the water as much as you can. So it looks like there's nothing much happening here, except that water is actually siphoning out of the 6-foot tank, and as the 7-foot is filling up. So I'm going to just let it run for a while, and as it runs, probably for another half an hour, and after that I'm going to stop the siphoning process. Now I'm going to move the siphon and let the water fill up naturally. So now the water is going to fill up, and the connecting hose is still there, and that's going to fill the 6-foot tank up as well. Water's filling up quite nicely. As you notice, I'm maintaining the surface agitation. So now I'm going to connect the plug from the 6-foot tank. The 6-foot tank's water's almost filled, so this one will connect the filter. So that's running now, as you can see by the outlet. Once the water level on the 7-foot goes up to another 1 or 2 more centimeters, I'll start turning the hose off. Now the water's filled up to the tank, I'm actually going to take the connecting hose off. As you can see there now, the 6-foot tank's nice and full. There's a bit of, you know, like particles in the water, but that will settle. And once that settles, it should be fine. With the 7-foot tank, it's almost full. I'll probably just get another ½ centimeter height, and after that I'll turn the hose off. Once that's done, I'm actually going to use some prime again to add to the 7-foot tank for good measure, because this is the tank that actually gets mixed with a lot of fresh water, not the 6-foot. So basically that's it. This is immediately after the water change now, the moment after I just added the prime. You can see the water is quite clear. You know, I haven't really changed anything. You know, I didn't change the canister filters, the media, or anything like that. That's pretty much, you do that separately, thereby maintaining the bacteria population, so that you don't have a bacteria crash and have the new tank syndrome all over again. So that's the 6-foot tank after the change. You will notice that it's pretty much looks good. All the you know, the particles in that are settling, and yeah. And again, I didn't change any of the canisters. I'll do that separately next week or something like that, but it won't be shown on video, because I did do a canister video at one stage, and it's basically the same thing, but you'll do that without a water change. You can, and what I would do with a canister filter change is only change one at a time. For example, in this 6-foot tank I've got 2, so I'll probably only change one out of the 2 and alternate it, and the same with the 7-foot. So I hope you like my video. If you do, just please subscribe and like them as well. Thank you. Cheers.